All right, and there you have it. Check gauges, transmission over temp. Again, the engine is off. I have all these failures, and let me just cycle it off, and I'm going to remove the key, and then I'm gonna start it, and there you go. Everything's perfect. So this failure happens when I have the key on, engine off. Again, I switched, actually I replaced the ignition switch with a factory part. I checked the starter contacts. I cleaned the connections to the module, the PCM. And before all of that, I actually took it to a repair shop, and they ended up swapping the ABS module. Long story short, it was a butcher shop. I ended up fixing all the things that they made worse, but this issue still happens. Key on, engine off. Right now the engine is running. So let's see if the new module fixes this problem. All right, so let me run by some steps that I took here, and if I missed something, I apologize. So first thing first is you want to check all the fuses, relays, did that, and you want to disconnect the negative battery cable. Check your grounds. All right, and then I went over here and took the module out. Now before I attempted to replace this module, I went ahead and cleaned all the connectors to the module. I also put some dielectric grease, which helps make better contact. And I checked the grounds as well. There's 2 grounds there going to the engine block. Everything turned out okay. And so I took the module apart, and let me show you what I have here. So this is the replacement module I purchased. That is a company. And I am a little concerned because it doesn't quite look like the one that I have, but you can see when I open the cover, look at all this. See? That means the computer is most likely overheating and causing some type of electrical resistance, which makes sense because when the key is on only, I have this failure. When the car is running, everything's fine. This module also has been replaced before, so this is a remanufactured module. Alright, so I reconnected the battery. Of course, after connecting the module, I just want to show you guys real quick. So I installed the module. Again, this one looks a little different than the one I took off, but hey, sometimes the manufacturers change them because the original one didn't work. Here's some pointers. Make sure that these connections are fully secured. These red tabs should be locked in place. I took some sandpaper, cleaned off this ground wire. Make sure you reconnect that. And I also use this dielectric grease that you can find at AutoZone. It's good for contacts, electrical contacts. So that's what I did. Now let's see what happens. All right, so far so good. I have the ignition on, and as you guys saw earlier, by this time I would have had all these warnings on, and so I was able to communicate with the module. There are no codes, whereas before with the original module I couldn't communicate. I thought it was my scanner at first, but I tried it with another car. It communicated well, so that was telling me that the module is faulty. I hope this helps. I looked all over YouTube trying to figure out what could potentially be wrong with my 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee. As you can see, it doesn't have too many miles, and the module was replaced once before, so that's an indication that there are issues with that module. So I'll leave all the information below. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was my actually first video on YouTube, and I just wanted to give back to all those that have helped me in the past with their videos. So I hope this helps you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it while I'm recording, and I'm gonna go drive it afterwards. There you go, starts right up. No more check engine light. Of course, it was stored in the old module, but again, I'm going to go drive it and put some miles on it, and hopefully all is well. By the way, this is a remanufactured module, so even if this one goes bad, I know right now the problem is not there. So this company does offer lifetime warranty, so if any other problems happen, I can always send it back. I forgot to let you guys know which tools I used. So I used a 10mm socket, a 8mm socket, a 1/4" ratchet. If you don't have that, just make sure you have a 10mm and a 8mm. So I also use a T20 Torx to remove the module cover. That wasn't really necessary. I just did that, right? You shouldn't be removing the new module cover. Just put it in the way it comes to you. Again, this module, the PCM module, came pre-programmed from Airs, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I'll put the description on the down below. And so the module comes pre-programmed, lifetime warranty. They do have a return policy as well, which is great. If that wasn't the issue, I could have returned it. But make sure you first check all your basics. Fuses, grounds, and also pay attention to what the car's telling you. That's something that I screwed up on, right? I'm not ashamed to say that. I do have experience in automotive field, but you know, there's a lot of information on YouTube, and it can lead you down the rabbit hole. Just make sure you check your basics. I'm in Acapulco. This is where the Jeep is, and so I was a little hesitant to get a PCM out here. They're super expensive, and also, you know, I wasn't going to the US anytime soon, so I wanted to check all these other things, check the starter contacts. I, you know, did some other routine maintenance, changed the ignition switch. That didn't take care of it, but make sure you pay attention. So one of the key things is my car was not communicating with a handheld scanner, so that's already an indication that, hey, you know what, the module is not communicating. So I checked the grounds, I checked the fuses, and one other important sign, I mean, the car's been running great. I drive it, the car runs perfect, right? And so the transmission over temp did come on a few times while driving, not all the time. And then I would just turn off the key, cycle it, everything was fine. So those are strong indications that most likely it's not a sensor. It's not a wire issue, and most likely it was the PCM, and that's what it was. Actually, I'll share with you. See, I'm actually inside the Jeep. Car's been running for a few minutes now, and I don't have any more failures. So